Do you find that you hold on to grudges and they affect your decisions because you're acting from a place of resentment, anger, and frustration? Or do you find that you have so much going on inside and all these felt senses and emotions that you end up being really reactionary and doing things that you wish that you hadn't been there? Today, I want to talk to you about the power of listening and how that can actually help you be less reactionary, release all those trapped emotions that cause you to act from a place of misalignment, and more importantly, how powerful it can be to do this with someone, to do this act of listening where you go within and listen to yourself while someone is sitting there in presence with you. So, how do we really listen? How do we need to listen from a place where we're not trying to change things and we're just being with something and observing it and just creating a relationship to it? Well, one great example is the example that's given in the manual for focusing is that pretend that you're approaching a wooded forest and you're in a field and all of a sudden you see this animal behind a tree kind of poking out and looking at you. If you didn't want that animal to run away, what would you do? You would approach it with gentleness, calm. You would make sure that you were super, super present so that you could tune into what's going on to them. And if they're feeling a little bit more open, maybe you approach them a bit. If you notice they kind of hunch back, maybe you change your body language and you move back to let them know that they are safe. And in any given moment, you are adjusting so that shy animal feels safe. This essentially is listening. We can do this with ourselves when we are focusing or throughout the day, or we can do it if we are a companion and we're sitting with someone who has asked us to sit with them while they want to go within. And doing this really allows a person to be present in that exact moment to see what is needed, because we're not trying to change anything. So in any given moment, there might be a shift and you just go, oh, okay, what is needed in that moment? And so that is the art of listening, not trying to change something, tuning in to seeing what is needed, and then adjusting in that moment. And so how does this look in focusing, and what is all this? Well, I'll give you a quick rundown. I do recommend watching my past videos that explain the different steps. But when you're focusing, you might set time aside to do it on your own and maybe put a timer and do it for 10 minutes. You might do the same thing with a companion and you take turns. One of you is focusing, one is sitting and being the companion. And when you're focusing, you're starting to, one, come in. So you're coming to yourself, to your body. Then you're making contact with something that you either choose to look at, like a problem that's driving you nuts, or you just want to see what comes up. Then you are connecting with it deeper and you're trying to describe it and see if there's a match. And as you deepen that contact, you're trying to see if there's going to be a shift or a change. And if not, you just sit with it and be curious and be its companion. And then in the end, you're coming out. So let's look at the roles of the focuser and the companion when doing a focusing session. So the focuser, remember, is always in charge. And before you start, you can make requests to the companion. So one, can you speak slowly? Maybe you might ask them to really have a long pause before they reflect back to you. You might even ask them to repeat a phrase more than once if you want it. And remember, you can make requests during the session, not just before starting. The next thing to remember is that as you're going within and you're connecting with something, you're trying to match, you're trying to describe it and see if it's a match. And you can do that by using words, phrases, or gestures. And when you say that out loud and the companion reflects it back, it's so helpful because you can be like, no, that's not quite right. Or, oh, yes, that is. And then you continue to allow that felt sense to unfold, and information may come or nothing may come, and you may just feel physical sensations changing. And that's all the trapped energy. That's something inside of you that needed attention. And by doing this, you're allowing it to transform and change. And that's the key to focusing. When you are going within, you're not trying to change anything. Because by just allowing something to be there, allows it to feel safe, and it will naturally unfold the way it needs to unfold. Just like that shy animal in the forest I mentioned earlier. So when we're talking about the companion's role is really important and simple at the same time. The key thing is to be in presence. And being in presence is being grounded, centered, calm, curious. You know what I mean? Noticing your body, noticing that you're in the room, being aware of what's going on with the person who is focusing. The other thing is that you really need to make sure that you follow the lead of the focuser. You're not trying to direct them into a situation. You're not asking questions. Asking question pulls them away from being present with what's going on inside. And it's really important to pause before reflecting back. You want them to be able to say, oh, I'm sensing something really tight in my chest. And to be able to connect with that before you jump in and say, you're sensing something tight in your chest. The other thing is to remember how you're speaking. You do not want to say things quickly that could, kind of agitate things. You want to speak in a very calm, slow voice and using presence language. And presence language, check out my videos and my blog, are things like you are sensing something, you are aware, you are remembering, you are realizing. They're things that are in the present moment. If a person brings up something in the past, you can say something like, there's something about you and that situation that happened 3 years ago that brings up some anger. So you can reference what they said in the past, but you always want to bring it back to the present moment. So I hope this was really helpful in helping you understand, what is focusing, what are the different roles, and how doing this daily and really practicing and making it a part of your life, whether you do a quick check-in to be like, oh, wait, what's that felt sense? Naming it, okay, what do I need? And then moving forward, or setting time aside to do it by yourself or with a companion. Now, that companion can be a friend, it can be someone who's trained, it can be a family member or a partner. And this will actually help deepen your relationship because you're not trying to change that other person if you're the companion. You're really listening to them and seeing what's going inside within without trying to change it. And so I found that it's changed my relationships with people because I'm not jumping in with feedback. And then when I do start doing that, I'm like, oh, I just need to listen. They know what's best for them. And if they ask for me to give feedback, I can give feedback. Or if it feels right in the conversation, I will. So it's a very powerful technique, not just to release that internal clutter, but it's a powerful technique to deepen your relationship with yourself and with others. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and check out my mini offers in the comments section below, as well as my free 30-minute clarity call. Take care and see you next time.